All right, what is going on, everybody? It is a Tactical Thursday. Welcome to the show. For those of you on Zoom, thank you for being here. For those of you on the YouTube, thank you for showing up as well. I appreciate you guys coming out and spending some time on your Thursday evening to chat everything tactical arbitrage, online arbitrage, selling on Amazon, and everything in between. Spending some of your Thursday with us. So this evening, we are going to be going over the wholesale search feature on tactical arbitrage. Going to be answering everyone's questions. And of course, it doesn't have to be just wholesale or anything like that. We can talk about anything Amazon, if you please. If this is your first time here, do me a huge solid and murder that like button. And hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so I can irritate you when I come out with new content. And it will help me. It helps the algorithm, and I will appreciate it extremely. So, let's see. Been watching too much ID channel. Chris, did you know that the check restrictions and download all does not work while in analysis product variations? No, we'll have to look into that. Maybe send me an email so I can double check it. I don't necessarily want to do that while we're on the live here, but I can double check that, and I can always pop that over into the developer chat if necessary. So let's get rolling. Raymond is here, man. What's going on, dude? Appreciate you showing up. If you guys have questions, make sure to drop them in the chat, whether on Zoom or on the Facebook. On the YouTube. I'm gonna get everything opened up here. It's not coffee, just a coffee mug. It was close and I was running late. There we go. All right. Max in the house. Let me share my screen with everybody. I even did a little bit of prep tonight, and we're going to do this. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen. I did a little prep tonight and made sure that I had my settings up so you guys could look at them. Zoom makes it very difficult to be able to share my desktop with you. So I have to share just a Google Chrome, tab. So I'm not going to be able to share with you a Excel spreadsheet. So I may end up popping that over into my Google Drive so you guys can look at it, because we're going to need to look at some spreadsheets this evening. But we'll get through it. So let's dive in. We're going to talk wholesale this evening. Let me open up the wholesale tab here. So wholesale search is more than just for wholesale. Bourbon. No, it's not bourbon. I don't really drink too much. It's actually it's Diet Coke. That's what it is. A little more presentable than a can. So wholesale search is more than just wholesale. It actually will do a slew of things for you. Wholesale being the main thing, okay? And there's two ways to be able to use the wholesale search for wholesale. The first is importing a manifest. The manifest allows you to get a price list from your wholesaler, or maybe you even have somebody going out and scraping sites for you. You can import those into tactical arbitrage, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Actually, you know what? Let me open up Google Drive here. Oh, I can actually show you guys sheets. There we go. This will make it nice and easy to see. You can do this in Excel. You can do this in Google Sheets. It doesn't matter. But there is a specific process to that you need to have everything in. So let me open up this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the I'm going to import the sheet from the example. Let's do this here. Now, when you are doing a wholesale, importing a wholesale spreadsheet, it needs to have some certain information. Now, the information that you can put in here is the title, the UPC, the ASIN, the price, the image, a note, the number of units, and a URL. Now, it's not necessary that you put all of this information inside of the sheet, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet, a CSV file, or a Google Sheet, it doesn't matter. But what you do need is you at least need an ASIN and a price, okay? Doesn't necessarily need an image or anything like that. However, if you are pulling a price list, you're typically going to have something like title, UPC, the price. You may not have an image link. There might not be notes. There may be the number of units if they're sold in case packs. For example, EE Distribution sells in case packs. And then there might be a URL if they have like a product detail page for actually shopping, okay? But you either need a UPC or an ASIN and a price. Those are the minimum requirements to be able to upload a wholesale spreadsheet. Now we're gonna actually delete this, delete all this information here. And we're gonna fake our own wholesale spreadsheet. Let me go and grab some data that I pulled. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull in, I don't know, maybe 100 ASINs. And then we're gonna fake a price in there. Pop these in here. And we're just going to put in, a price of $5.75. And then we are going to just fake that in for every one of these here. Okay. And these are actually all board games. So this is the minimum information you need, either the ASIN or the UPC, one or the other. Okay. That's what you need. Now, in wholesale search, if you import the manifest, you're going to want to add a new source. Now, you may have some existing ones. So if you happen to be sourcing from a wholesaler that you source from on a regular basis, you could select the existing, but we're going to create a new one. And let's just say this is EE Distribution. Okay, so EE Distribution, I'm going to put that in there. Click the plus, and now it's over here in my select existing. And then we need to upload the file. Okay, now if you've never done this before, you're probably going to want to read through this. It gives you some information of what you actually need in here. And we need the price at least and the ASIN, but you can also have all of this other information in there as well. Okay. Or you can also do a title only search. I forgot about that. Let me download this into a CSV file. You can upload it from your Google Drive. I'm just going to download as a CSV here. And our header starts at row 1. Okay, so what that means is on this particular file, we've got a header here with all of the information. TA is going to use this to grab that data in the proper places. Okay, so we're going to throw this in here. We're going to choose the file, and I'm going to do TA wholesale example. and the header row 1, and then it's going to pull in here. It's got the product title, the UPC, the ASIN, the price, the image, the note, the units, and the URL, because all of that information is in there. Okay, all the headers are there, and then it's only going to pull the ASIN and the price because that's where the data is in my sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and upload that. Now we have a manifest uploaded, and then it's really just like doing any other search, okay? We could talk about cache. You could do a cache only search. I wouldn't suggest it. You can do UPC sites and products only, which means it'll skip anything that doesn't have a UPC. So I would not turn that on. I would turn on this also check UPC products for image matches. And this is going to be especially important if you happen to have an image URL in your wholesale sheet. That can be really helpful to find things that maybe a UPC doesn't match, or maybe a title doesn't match. It could actually pull an image. And then you can enable rapid search, which I wouldn't suggest doing. Rapid search is basically going to do cache only, and it's also going to pause all of your other searches to try to make wholesale go as fast as possible. Wholesale has had a speed increase in the past couple of months, so you don't really need to worry too much. It's gotten a lot faster than it used to be. The other thing you can do is you can name this search, of course. So we're imagining this is an EE distribution. So what I would call this is EE distribution. And then board games, because these are all going to be board games. Do you know if EE distribution has a manifest? Yes. If you get a wholesale account with EE distribution, they offer like price lists on a regular basis. And if you talk to your sales rep, they'll email them to you and all that kind of stuff. Now, once you have this portion taken care of, you want to go in and start filtering. So you can do source price adjustments. Now, the reason this is important is typically with a wholesaler, you're not going to have state sales tax. But if you're working with some kind of distributor that's weird, that makes you pay state sales tax, the option is there. But like I said, 99% of the time, this is going to be blank. Now, you might have wholesaler reductions. Maybe there's a sale. Maybe there is maybe you get a percentage off for X amount of dollars in orders. All kinds of things. Maybe you get a longtime customer discount, all kinds of stuff. So if you have any discounts from your wholesaler, you can throw them in here. Now, typically, I would imagine you're only going to have one discount from your wholesaler. You're not going to really be getting cash back or anything like that, or use gift cards that you can throw into these other boxes. So typically, you're probably only going to need one. Okay. You can remove the data. And Fernando, is a manifest a price list? Yeah, typically manifest and price list are going to be used interchangeably. If you want to use the proper terminology when you're talking to a brand owner or a wholesale distributor or something like that, you're typically going to want to ask for a price list. There's a lot of wholesale terminology that can be a little bit different than what we're using in the Amazon and OA world. But price list would be what you ask for. All right, in the remove, this is just like a lot of the other features inside of Tactical Arbitrage. You're going to have remove. You can do current, average 30-day, or average 90-day ranks over X. And again, like always, I would suggest leaving this either very wide open or not using this particular filter at all. You can see that I have the remove of estimated sales is less than filled in with one sale. So this would remove anything that has an estimated sale in a month of less than one. Okay, so it keeps my filter nice and wide open. I don't have any ranks. So let's say, for example, that I have a wholesale distributor who has a product that maybe is currently ranked 800,000, and maybe I only want to go to 500,000, but that particular product is out of stock, or maybe the Maybe the listing needs updated. Maybe it needs a little PPC. Maybe it needs a better picture. There's all kinds of reasons why I want to keep this pretty wide open, okay? You can remove if the number of sellers is less than X and more than X. If I were using a price list, I would leave this blank. However, later on, when we talk about reverse wholesale sourcing, I'll show you some ways where you can remove the number of sellers and talk about that kind of thing. Now, if I were going through a price list, the reason I would leave the removed number of sellers if it's under or over is because I want to make the decision on my own. I want to see more data, and then I can figure out some things on my own, okay? You can remove if the number of competitive FBA sellers is more than X. So maybe so I have mine set up where the competitive sellers are within 2% of the buy box, which you would see in my settings. I can't go into that portion of my settings, but it's in there. So if there were 5 competitive sellers, and I put this as I don't want to compete with any more than 4, then I wouldn't see it. The problem with doing that, again, just like doing OA, is perhaps one of the sellers who is competing for the buy box only has 1 or 2 in stock, but it's something that sells very, very regularly. Well, I'm more than happy to share with 4 other sellers if we can all stay competitive for the buy box, and maybe get my share of, maybe it's 25 or 50 or 75 sales per month. You can remove oversized products if you'd like. You can remove if Amazon contains no weight or size data. You can remove if Amazon's also a seller and now in stock. If you want to use that, that's fine. I wouldn't be too heavy-handed on this because maybe you find a product where Amazon's in stock right now, but it's only in stock for a short period of time, or maybe they go in and out of stock on a regular basis, and you might have the ability to grab that from your distributor or wholesaler. You can remove if the number of reviews is less than X. Remove if the rating is lower than. So if you wanted to only see products that were 3.5 stars and above, or 2.2 stars and above, or just a flat 3 stars and above, you can use that as well. What I would suggest is leaving that fairly wide open. I had someone tell me today, hey, I won't buy anything that has 1 or 2 stars. And I get the thought process there, but the thing is I typically want to read the reviews. So for example, I sell these undershirts and they've got great reviews. However, I go through them. When I first started selling them, they're a replen now. I went through some of the reviews to make sure that, the items fit, people were happy with it. If it had been something that was like 2 stars, I would really be kind of curious as to what it is. Are they complaining about the price because the price is significantly higher on Amazon than it is at the source? Are they upset over fit? Are they upset because they think something is authentic? There's all kinds of things that you can pull from the reviews. That can be helpful, especially if it's shoes and clothing. You want to worry about fit rate and stuff like that. But for toys and things, I'm typically not too worried about it being a 2 or 3 star, especially if it's priced much higher than retail. For wholesale search, if there are more than 1 ASIN for the same product, is there a way to show only the lowest ranked ASIN? So that's a great question. There is not a filter to show only the lowest ranked ASIN if there's more than 1 product. However, those should show up next to each other, and you'd be able to see that on the view data page pretty quickly. You could also use the on-page filters to only see certain products and things like that. But no, the wholesale feature is supposed to try and go and find all the matches for you on purpose, because maybe, so this isn't all the time, but a product that is ranked lower than another product may not actually be the best one to be on in all cases. Maybe that one sold more recently, but maybe the other one sells more frequently. So and there's a big difference when you're looking at those. And David, you may already know, but for those who don't, yeah, the sales rank is a snapshot in time. So while we want to be cognizant of it, we don't necessarily want to put too much weight on it, because recency and frequency impact sales rank. But let's say someone went in and bought 10 of an item, it could knock the sales rank down quite a bit, and it may be lower than another ASIN that's exactly the same, but the other one sells on a more frequent basis. So it's kind of weird how it all works, but you want to see more of that data. Like one of the things that I know people want to do is they want to make this as easy as possible, and tactical arbitrage does 75% of the heavy lifting for you, but you want to be willing to do that last 25% just to make sure that you're getting everything that you want to see. So we can remove products with a source price of less than X and more than X. I wouldn't use this in a wholesale search. You can remove products with an Amazon price of less than X and more than X. This one is not necessarily a bad idea. Again, I wouldn't be too heavy-handed on it. Maybe you don't want to sell anything that is less than $7, and maybe you don't want to sell anything that's more than 100, for example, just because you're trying to limit how many items are really, really cheap, and maybe you want to limit how many items might be expensive, where you might get a return and have to eat quite a bit of fees and things. In the next filter, we can remove products if the Amazon title contains certain words. So if we want to remove things like pack, case, QTY for quantity, etc., you can pop those in there. Can also do numbers. So if you want to do 2 and 3 and 4, you can put those in there. After you type them, you can either do a comma or hit the enter button. I like the enter button. It'll pop it in there as its own little number or word. You can also remove products containing the brand. Now, the best place to exclude brands is going to be in your settings. However, let's say that you had a clothing wholesaler that you were using, and you don't typically filter out Nike because you don't sell a whole lot of clothing. But in this particular case, you want to filter out Nike or Converse, maybe Adidas or something. You can do that here for the brand. Okay. You can remove the product if Amazon buy box is not at least X times the store price. I've talked about this before. This would be so Chris Green kind of pioneered the whole rule of 3. So if you buy a product for $5 and sell it for $15, $5 is going to be your buy cost or your cost of goods sold, $5 in fees, and $5 in profit. Okay, that was kind of the rule of 3 back in the day to make sourcing a lot easier. Selling on Amazon has matured a lot since then. So you don't necessarily want to use that. You want to kind of look at ROI and things like that after the fact, because I'm willing to sell something that, maybe I buy for $5 and sell for $9.50, but the price is really, really steady, and maybe I'm only making $1 on it, but maybe I'm selling 100 units a month, and it's something that I can just send in a case pack to Amazon. I don't have to do anything but throw some stickers on it. Okay, and it's not perfect math, but that kind of thing can work out for you. Okay. All right, after you got all those filled out, the next thing is source titles. This is something you're probably really not going to use at all. You can remove words from the source title or add words to the source title. You can remove products if the source title contains, or you can remove products if the source title does not contain. I wouldn't use those a ton. They were put there for a reason in the past. And I just don't think that they're really necessary anymore. So let me hide this here. There we go. Everyday K, it's really blurry. So what I would suggest is I have my screen set up so that it's easily seen in 720p. Now, we're having a storm system roll through, so maybe my internet is slow. Maybe your internet is slow. I would suggest that you hit the gear icon on the YouTube video, and you can change the quality. I would either change it to auto or pop it down to 320 or 720, and it should clear that up. If you're watching on a phone, you might need to switch it to a landscape view rather than a portrait mode. All right, the next thing is going to be your costs. These costs are important to know. If you are using if you're using a prep center, you're going to want to know your costs. A lot of times they're going to be like a buck 50 per item for them to prep, pack, ship your items. You want to know what those are. Okay. Excuse me. So let's just say it's a $1.50 an item, but let's say that your cost to create a bundle. So like I was using a prep center where the cost to create a bundle up to 6 units was $3. Okay. If it was more than 6 units in a bundle, then it cost more. Okay. So you want to make sure that you know those costs. Your cost of prep per oversized product could be different. So I was using a retail arbitrage prep place, and if the products were oversized, they charged an extra $5 per unit. And then you want to know your cost per pound to ship to Amazon. Now, this is going to vary whether you use parcel or LTL. If you're using LTL, you may get your price down to 15 cents per pound. But and I know that I use parcel all the time, UPS typically, or well, all the time now. And I always put in 50 cents per pound to ship. That's a little high. My typical cost is usually somewhere between 35 and 40 cents per pound, but I like to give myself a little bit of wiggle room there. Okay. So know what your cost per pound to ship to Amazon is, and pop that in there as well. This will all be used to figure out, it'll figure into your actual overall cost. That way your profit and ROI figures are correct. Okay. Profit and ROI, only keep data if the gross profit is at least X amount of dollars. I'm going to keep this at $1. Okay. That way I see more data. And then only keep data if the gross ROI is at least, I'm going to put 10%. Okay. You can use whatever you want here. One of the things that I see on a regular basis is people put in 100% ROI. I only want to sell things with 100% ROI. And when you do that, you're going to be missing out on tons of great products. That's not just going to be online arbitrage and retail arbitrage. It's going to be wholesale too. Your margins or your ROI and things, you may just not make 100%. Now, there's plenty of them out there. Don't get me wrong. But again, I want to see more data instead of less data. I know some people that run these with like 1 penny and 1% and keep things really, really loose. Okay. So, but I'm going to put in $1 and 10%. And then in my other filters, you can also show no match found results. This would show you items where the source or your manifest has a product, but it does not find a match on Amazon. So whether that is because the title doesn't match or the UPC doesn't match, et cetera, and so on. You can show only no match found results. I would not use this particular filter in most cases because when you show only no matches, sometimes it can just be kind of wonky and incorrect. You can also show Amazon out of stock results. I would suggest you use this all the time. If you can bring a product back in stock, you can oftentimes do really, really well. I talked about this 2 weeks ago, and we brought a product back in stock that had been out of stock for a while, and we were the only sellers on it for a long time until the rank got better. It started selling through, and then other people found it, picked it up, and started selling it as well. But this is something where you're going to want to look at the history charts so that you can see okay, yeah, it's out of stock. It's been out of stock for 3 months or whatever, but I can see that it's sold on a regular basis or a somewhat regular basis before that when it's in stock. Okay. You can show only Amazon out of stock results. This is another one you want to be careful with. Make sure that you're being really careful with this one. Just also showing the Amazon out of stock results is typically enough. Now, one of the other things that you can do is if you happen to have a price list from a distributor, you can also turn on show reverse search results for more sources. And this says UPC stores and title stores. So what you can do here is you can take your price list from wherever, and at the same time, you can let Tactical Arbitrage not only figure out whether or not the products from the price list are profitable, but you can have it go out and do reverse search for more sources to find these at the sites that are supported by TA. Now, the reason you might do this is, let's say, for example, that you get a huge list from EE Distribution of toys and games and all kinds of stuff. Now, EE Distribution is typically, and the reason I say I am willing to talk about them is typically they're used for ungating, and there's not a lot of really profitable products there. Okay. However, you could take that and you could look for some profitable products, but you could also do a reverse search and you could see if there's any other places where you might actually be able to find those at a profit. Okay. You could do that with any price list that you throw in here. It will go out and look for them for you. Okay. So you can turn those on if you'd like. Now, once you have all of that all set up and ready to go, I forgot. If you happen to like the way a filter is, you can name it and save it. So let's say, for example, that I want to call this wholesale. I don't know, I'll just call this wholesale test filter. Okay. I'll go ahead and save that. And we can see the name pops up in here. Once I have everything set the way that I want, I hit the search button and it's going to say it's advisable but not essential to add a new source. Oh, I can see that it there, EE Distribution is what I was using. So you're either going to add a new source or select an existing. For some reason, EE Distribution popped out of there. We hit search again, and now it is off to the races. It's going to take this price list that we created, and it's going to go and start looking for matches based on the 575 price that I have in here, and then it's going to show us products that have been added in the view data page, and we'll go look at that in just a minute. So any questions so far before we get rolling on a few other features and then go look at some view data? Nope, nothing yet. All right. So before we actually go look at view data, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let this continue running out. There's only 100 there, so it's going to be done in just another second or two. Well, we're going to talk about some other ways to use the wholesale search. So import the manifest was the first one. The next thing we can do is we can actually search a wholesale site. Okay. Now this is something that I haven't seen any other software be able to do. And if you happen to have an account with a wholesaler and they don't offer price lists, but they have a site that you can log into, you can actually search through it with Tactical Arbitrage. Now, there's a caveat to that. To be able to search behind a login, you have to have Tactical Bucket. Tactical Bucket has to be able to create a wholesale XPath for you. There's no way to do it yourself. It's just not possible. You got to have Tactical Bucket. Okay, there's some sorcery and some wizardry there that happens, and you need to be able to let Javier build out a wholesale XPath. Now, I happen to have one for, I have a couple. Okay, so this Motengna.com is a wholesale site which is behind a paywall. This is another one that I'll share because honestly, I've never really found anything profitable there, but it's mostly sports and outdoor stuff. Now, if you have one of these built by Tactical Bucket for you, you get to search by categories, just like you would with a regular product search, okay? Now, if you have one of these built, you actually have easy bulk categories. So for example, in this one, we're going to look at the archery. We're going to add this to the easy bulk for my wholesale site. Hopefully my login and everything works. Hopefully I won't shoot myself in the foot here, but Motengna, we're going to look through the archery section. I'm not going to worry about the category because it's all in the easy bulk. The category would look like, well, it's not in here, but a category would just be the URL, and you can see there's a URL generator up here. Okay. We're just going to use easy bulk. You can do start page and last page. I'm going to let easy bulk take care of all of that for me. We've got an easy bulk in here. Okay. We're going to do the last used filter. The last used is also my wholesale test filter. Okay. We can set up our source price adjustments and all our filters just like we did before. It's exactly the same. And then we start the search. Okay. And all this is going to do is this makes it really nice and simple and easy. It goes into the wholesale site, logs in through the paywall or the login because you give that information to Javier at Tactical Bucket, and then it starts going through all of the categories. Okay. Oh, great. And it's working for me. So this is going through and it's checking all of the products in the archery categories for me. And we can see that it's going through and finds everything. It's just like running a product search, but it's for wholesale sites. So I would, if you have one like this, I would reach out to, go to tacticalbucket.com, get yourself an account because it's worth every single penny to have these built. They're like $40 a pop one time plus your monthly fee, and you can run them unlimited amount of times. So any questions on that? Let's see. Missed the first part, but we have to have a price list before running the scan. So yes and no. You're not. We're going to talk about using wholesale for some reverse search sourcing as well. So you can do some things without a price list. But typically, when you're buying wholesale, you're either doing it from a price list, and sometimes those are in PDF files. In that case, you got to switch them over to CSVs. Or they're behind a paywall or a login, which you can have Tactical Bucket take care of that for you. Is there a way within TA to skip results where one of the sellers is also the manufacturer, even if there's more than one seller? No, there's not really a way to do that. That would be something you'd have to look at on your own. And part of the reason is there's just not a good way to know that. Let's say for example, here's a good example. Disney products. So if you sell a Disney product, a lot of times the brand is going to say Disney on it. But the manufacturer, if you will, is oftentimes on the product. However, Disney goes by Shop Disney on Amazon. So it's kind of difficult. There's also a kind of a skincare manufacturer, Bliss. I think their store name is Bliss Products, but their brand is Bliss, just BLISS. That was a really profitable product line for me until they started selling on Amazon. Okay, so that's how we search a wholesale site. I'm going to let that go ahead and run. We'll start a new search here. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can search seller products, okay? This is really great for doing reverse searches, okay? And what I mean by a reverse search with wholesale is you can actually go and find other sellers. Maybe they are on listings with you. Maybe they just happen to fit the criteria that you're for a storefront that you're interested in modeling. And you can go in and actually look through their products. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Does TA only show the number of sellers on a listing that have listed as new, or does it include new and used? So in product search, reverse search, and wholesale, it's going to list the number of sellers who are selling as new. Okay. Used products in most categories are not eligible for the buy box. Now, that is not true in books. It's not true in video games a lot of times. It also can not be true in like movies and CDs. A lot of times you're going to have a used buy box. But for everything else, new is where the buy box is going to be. So these just cover the new sellers. You have to give me an example. I typically don't see Amazon Warehouse on the buy box. But I'd be happy. I'm happy to be proven wrong because, well, it's Amazon, and as soon as you think you've got something down pat, there's something new to learn. Okay. So in the search seller products, this can be used in two different ways. One, you could do what we call a reverse wholesale search to find products that might be something where you want to reach out to the brand, okay, or the wholesaler or something like that. And we'll even talk about like going out and finding contact information here in a little bit. With search seller products, you need to have the seller ID. So what we're going to do is we're going to run over to Amazon. And we're going to look in, I don't know, let's do some sporting and outdoors or something. Let's see here. You can see my recently viewed. These X-Shot guns here earlier were like $6.99. Chris Green dropped a line to them on me. They're like $6.99 for a 2-pack. They're typically $25. So if you're looking for a gift for some kids, that's a good one. Could be a flip too. But let's go to sports and outdoors. And let's look up, I don't know. Let's do hiking. All right, so with hiking, we got a ton of different kinds of products here. We got a bunch of socks, we got pants, all kinds of things. That's 100,000 products. So I'm gonna go a little bit deeper, and let's do safety and survival. All right, so in safety and survival, now we're down to 3,000. Let's see, don't die emergency blanket. That's awesome. Sold by Amazon. Let me find something that has several sellers on it. A ton of these just have one. That's crazy. Must be a ton of private label in here. Now let's go to outdoor recreation. Let's pull this back a little bit. Here we go. Oh, this one's got 10 sellers on it. So what I'm going to do here is I actually want to look at all the sellers on this product. And then we're going to find size here. Here we go, 18 sellers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to look at some of these sellers, and the Gear Co-op, like they got to be huge. 46,000 ratings. That's crazy. Go Bros, 15,000 ratings. These are all people who are just insanely large. Soul Provisions, Gear X, Shoe Annex. I want to find somebody who's got like 400 or 800 reviews. Let's see here. Actually, let's go to, tell you what, let's go to Dearborn Supply. Let's look at these folks. Over the past 30 days, they've got 76. So this one may not be too bad. So we're at their storefront. They've got over 1,000 results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab their storefront ID, which is right here. Okay. It's after the me equals. This marketplace ID just means that it's Amazon US. I'm going to grab their store ID. Now, when we go back to wholesale search, there's two different ways that we can use this. We can throw this in here, seller ID. We can, hey Ones, what's going on? We can use this to find products that would fit something that we want to sell. Maybe we could reach out to the brand and try to get a wholesale account with them, or we could just do some arbitrage searching. Okay, so let's talk about arbitrage searching first. We're not going to need to worry about source price adjustments, although if you're doing arbitrage, you may need to throw the 7% in there. Okay, you can, or sorry, 7% is what it is in my particular area in Florida. You have to put in your state sales tax, whatever it is in your particular area. You can set up all of your filters. So maybe you don't want to, maybe you just want to remove estimated sales as less than 1. Maybe you want to remove oversized products, etc. We went through all of this. You put in your costs, of course. Put in your profit and ROI again. You put in your other filters, but here you want to make sure that you are reverse searching for more sources. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's going to go out and it's going to try to find this seller's products. Okay, so they have over 1,000 results. It's going to try to find these at stores that are handled on Amazon. So what I'm going to do, or is handled by TA. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this Dearborn Supply storefront. I'm going to call this reverse search. Okay, and I'm going to hit search on here. Now this is going to go out and grab all of the ASINs, and it's going to go in and do a reverse search for me. Let's see here. Got a question. Can we do a storefront reverse search outside wholesale search? No, you cannot. There is not a way. Well, that's not true. So you cannot do it in this fashion, but what you can do for another or what you could do in reverse search, which we talked about last week, is you could pull up a storefront's products in the Tactical Edge area, and you could pull all of their ASINs into reverse search. Let's see here. Why is it that sometimes when scanning a store with Storefront Stalker, it grabs all the ASINs of the store plus a few more that the store has not listed? Regularly, those extra ASINs don't show a price on column B. Maybe it's because the items were just sold and that was the last they have in inventory, and that says runs on cash. So Storefront Stalker Pro doesn't run on cash. I mean, have you gone through and checked like every single product to be sure that's the case? So one of the things that I've noticed is whether you are using Storefront Stalker Pro or Tactical Arbitrage or Tactical Bucket or anything like that, like this data is actually harder to get than a lot of people would think. All the products off of a storefront. Okay, so it could be that Storefront Stalker Pro grabbed one that isn't showing, but it's in the code. Could be that it was there, but now it's not. There's just a lot of reasons that could happen. Kind of hard to say. All right, so this is doing a reverse search for us. We've got 69 products added. and these are out looking at products at other stores. Now, the other thing that we could do, we're going to start a new search here, is we could use this as, let's see, Tactical Edge sometimes pulls more products than using Storefront Stalker. Is that normal? Yes, Tactical Edge can sometimes pull more products than using Storefront Stalker. Again, that's going to probably be a cache issue. You know, let's say that I pulled Dearborn Supply and then you pulled Dearborn Supply, but in between the time I pulled it and you pulled it, they sold through a couple of products and they don't have them in stock anymore. It may pull up for you, even though they're not there. So I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, and like, so actually, I was explaining this to someone today. So 99% of Amazon sellers just trust that Amazon gives us the right data all the time. You know, and when you look at the FBA calculator or the information on your seller app, like it's just right. But what I've seen from building my own apps or extensions, and also, you know, being able to talk to Alex and his development team, the API on Amazon throws some wacky data sometimes. And a lot of times when you see something askew with any software that connects to Amazon, whether it's Inventory Lab or Tactical Arbitrage or Rev Cellar or anything else, like there's one of two issues. One, Amazon's throwing something wonky in the API data. Two, there's some setting that's just kind of messed up. Or three, there might be a bug, and typically bugs get squashed pretty quickly. So a lot of times it's you know, something else. Let's see here. David, a bit off subject. For wholesale applications, it's probably best to have a business reseller certificate from my state. How about a site? Could I just spin up a quick AliExpress dropship site just to show when applying for wholesale? I will be honest, in 99% of cases, that's probably not necessary. I know very successful wholesalers who do $1 million a month in sales, and they don't have a website. They got a business card, they got a Gmail address, but they don't have any websites. Wholesale is more about relationships than anything else. It's going to be getting your foot in the door appropriately, you know, finding some pain points, solving those pain points, and then building a relationship with your supplier, more than it's going to be about, you know, a fancy website or anything like that. On TA, can you ignore a particular seller of an item because, for example, you know that seller usually prices his items a penny below yours? Or another example could be because that seller, you know, usually goes out of stock fast. So no, yes and no. Like, you could ignore them in the Tactical Edge area, but you're not going to be able to ignore them just in the results in the view data section. Excuse me, in the view data section. That's just going to show up. Those people are just going to be there. Another thing you could do with them is, rather than ignoring them in TA, you can ignore them in your repricer. If you're using a repricer, there can be let's say I know that Roger E store is always undercutting me by a penny, and I know that, you know, Roger E store only gets 3 to 5 units of any single product. I could set my repricer to ignore your storefront, let you price at whatever you want to price at, and then I just price compared to the next person. Okay, now let's talk about using this search seller products to go and actually find some leads for wholesale products. Okay, so in this particular case, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take you into my settings screen for a moment. And in my settings screen, you're going to notice in the price adjustments area, I've got a virtual source price. This virtual source price means that when there is no source price, we're going to, TA is going to show a virtual source price at X% of the buy box price in calculations, okay? And then in the drop-down box, you have a bunch of things to choose from. So when you talk about wholesale and you talk about wholesale pricing, one of the things you might hear is something called Keystone Pricing. Typically, that's like 50% of MSRP or 50% of retail. Now, you're not always going to pay that. However, it can be a good place to start, okay? Just to figure out when you're doing some reverse search wholesale sourcing, okay? So what I do is I put my virtual source price in here at 50%. So what this means is we're going to use this Dearborn supply and this job site original boot scrubber. What it's going to do is it's going to pull this product and it's going to say, okay, 1997, what's 50% of that? It's somewhere around the $10 mark, $9 and whatever. I'm not so good with the maths in my head. But 1997 is going to be $9.98, okay? Or $9.99 really, because it's $9.98 and a half. But it's going to price this product at $9.98, and if I can make a profit that fits my ROI and my if it fits my ROI and my profit, then it will show this product to me. Okay, so this gets a little confusing, which I totally get. But what we're doing here is we're trying to find potential wholesale leads. Okay. Hello, new member here. How do I search a wholesale site? You're going to want to go back and rewatch this video because we just went over that. And since we're about almost an hour in, I can't go and do that again. In Storefront Stalker Pro, what does the multi-page download do? In Storefront Stalker Pro, the multi-page download allows you to upload links from multiple storefronts or even multiple searches on Amazon, and then it will go and do those for you. Next week, when we talk about all of the tools that I use in conjunction with tactical arbitrage, we'll go over that. Okay, so sorry, got my settings there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look for some leads. So we're going to use this storefront ID again. And in the wholesale search, we're going to pop them into the seller ID. We are going to change our filters a bit. So we're not going to worry about any kind of reductions or state sales tax. We're going to remove if estimated sales is less than 1. Not going to worry about source titles. I am going to leave my costs in here. Okay. I'm also going to leave my profit and ROI at $1 and 10%. Excuse me. In my other filters, I am going to turn off the reverse search. Okay. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to show me items that would fit my profit and ROI based on my costs at 50% of the current buy box price on Amazon. Okay. And this will allow me to come up with some leads for products that might be helpful. I'm actually going to name this Dearborn Supply Wholesale Leads. Okay. I'm going to hit the search button there. That's as easy as it is. It's going to go grab those ASINs again, and it's going to pull them back and let me know which ones, based on quote unquote Keystone pricing, would be possible leads. And we see we've got 64 added already. So what we'll do in a few minutes is we'll actually go and we'll do some Google foo, if you will, and find some products, find a brand owner or something like that. Okay. All right. How do you track the ASINs you're selling? Buy cost, sell cost, quantity, etc. Do you use software or a simple spreadsheet? So I have a spreadsheet and I have software. My spreadsheet, which I have on my website and in a bunch of my videos that you can download for free, I have a tracking spreadsheet of all the items that are inbound from sites. Okay. I have links, buy price, the current buy box price, everything you might need. And I pull all that data from Rev Cellar and just paste it into my spreadsheet. And then I upload, when I create my shipments, I upload all of that data into Inventory Lab, and it tracks my costs, et cetera, and so on. All right. Now, while this is running, let's start a new search, and we'll talk about some other ways to use wholesale as well. We talked about importing manifest. We talked about searching a wholesale site. Talked about searching seller products. The next thing we can do is we can actually search a brand page. Yes. To search a wholesale site, you need to use Tactical Bucket. So in wholesale, we can actually go and search for brands. So let's say, for example, that we're going to go look for wholesale leads again. Okay. You could also do this for a reverse search for more sources. You could actually, let's say we want to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put in, trying to think of a brand, a good brand. Tell you what, we'll just do Sony. Okay. So we put in here, and you see as I start typing, a bunch of brands come up. Okay. I'm actually just going to pick Sony here. All right. So now what this is going to do is this actually going to go out and grab all of the products with Sony as the brand. Okay. Now, again, I want to use my filters, and depending on whether or not I'm going to be reverse searching these, I can throw those in here as well. But in this particular case, I'm just looking, and I know Sony is not somewhere I'm going to get an actual wholesale account with, but I don't know, let's think big and say that I could. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull all the brand items that might be good for wholesale. Okay. So I'm going to call this Sony reverse leads or something. And we can search that again as well. So what this is going to do is it's going to go based on my settings, pull the buy price, show me at 50% of the current buy box. If it's profitable based on my $1 and 10%, it'll show those back up for me. Okay. And we can see Sony, it's going after about 8,000 products, and start adding them here as well. Let's start a new search. There's even more we can do here. Let's see. Sorry, we got a question I need to answer here. I get this error: purchase exclusive logged in wholesale sites to add here and scan using all the features of a regular. That's not an error. You actually have to purchase those from Tactical Bucket. If you want to shoot me an email, how to do that, I can point you in the direction of some video. I've done tons of videos on Tactical Bucket, how to use all the features, things like that. Crazy what you can do with Tactical Bucket. And if you're still having an issue, then what you may need to do is you may need to reach out to hello@tacticalbucket.com. Maybe show some screenshots and things like that of what's going on. And Javier's really good about debugging anything or pointing you in the right direction. Okay, so we've talked about importing manifest. We talked about wholesale site, seller products, brand page. You can do a quick search. This is very similar to the quick search and reverse search, where you can, hey, Dumpster Diver Dad is here. What's going on, man? You can throw in 1 up to 100 ASINs, UPCs, or ISBNs. I'm going to be completely honest. I appreciate that this is in there. I think it's a waste of resources. I don't think you should be searching, 1 or 50 when you can search up to 100,000 products in wholesale at any one time. And then you can do multiple searches at the same time. I don't think you should be throwing in 50 or 25 or 100 UPCs. You should probably create bigger files. However, you can, if you want to copy and paste a few ASINs at a time, you can throw them in here and do a quick search for them. Okay. The next thing we can do is we can do a quick keyword search. So let's say, for example, that I want to do another reverse search for leads, okay? And I want to find all of the instant mashed potatoes that might be good wholesale leads, okay? I'm going to put in the keyword instant mashed potatoes. I'm going to leave the filter the same, like I'm doing that reverse search for wholesale leads. I'm going to name this instant mashed potatoes wholesale leads. And I'm going to click search. Now, what you could do is you could also do the reverse search results of more sources as well. Okay. So we could go in and we could actually do a search for instant mashed potatoes and go do a reverse search. Okay. This is it's basically the exact same thing from reverse search, but it allows you to find wholesale leads if you want to. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit search on that. And we'll go start looking at some data here in a few minutes. Let's see here. I understood from your training to go really wide on reverse search and go small and specific on product search. Why do you track stores with like 600 ratings rather than those with several thousand? So here's the thing. If a site like, or if a store like, say PharmaPacks, for example, PharmaPacks, heck, let's find out. See how many results they have over the past. So PharmaPacks has 8,551 reviews over the past 30 days. They've got over 130,000 total reviews. Do I want to be like PharmaPacks? Well, honestly, no. I don't ever want to be as big as PharmaPacks. However, I don't want to emulate them either, because PharmaPacks has the buying power and the technology in place that I'm probably never going to get the kind of deals that they're getting. Okay. So if I go after just products that PharmaPacks is on, or maybe even someone as big as BuyBoxer, who does like 80 million a year. There's several others out there. You know, there's several places that do, 75, 50 million a year. Like, I don't have the buying power of these guys. Now, could I grow into something like that? Maybe, if I really like rolled my sleeves up, but I don't want to either. However, the folks who are getting like 200 a month, or 300 a month in number of reviews, like, I could probably get some of the same accounts as them. I'm fairly likable, but to go up against PharmaPacks and try to get in some of the accounts that they have, it's just probably not going to happen. All right, let's see. Where were we? Quick keyword. Okay, we got all those. There used to be a feature on TA that with Keepa, you could see which items were seasonal, but it has been deactivated because Amazon rules. Is there a way to do this somehow without having to go to each listing on Keepa? Well, you can still look at the seasonality of products with the history graph. So if we go to view wholesale, I don't have any. I didn't do any searches for things like Valentine candy, but I can look through the Keepa, the history graph here, and I can see how it's selling. I can even go back 180 days, and you can see this one is fairly even after the price bump. This one sold some in like November, December area, and it seemed to stop, and the price came back down and it picked up again. I don't know if that's what you mean, or if you mean like the 30-day average, which you can actually look at that as well. So yeah, you can look at the average rank over 30 and 90 days if it's available. All right, so on the view wholesale page, it's pretty much very similar to other products, or to the other features. Okay, so for example, we're going to be looking at. Sorry, let me add one over here. Oops, there we go. Okay, so it's pretty much like a lot of the other view data. You've got your history chart, so you can take a look at the buy box prices, whether Amazon is on it or not. You can look at the velocity of the product. You got your estimated monthly sales. Your source is going to be different because that's going to be based on what you put into the wholesale search in the source area, okay? You've got your price. So you can see all these are $5.75 because we put that price into the spreadsheet. But if we go and actually look at the instant mashed potatoes, we're going to see that all the prices are different. As soon as this loads, sorry, screen starts to get slow, but we can see here the price is $15.12 for this particular item. That's based on 50% of the buy box price. Okay, I'll go back to all results here. Did you throw up the Google name sheet and I missed it? I have not shared the link to the oh, that's a great thank you. So as always, we give away prizes at the end of the show. We've got poly bags, we've got 30-day flips leads, we got all kinds of stuff. However, to get those, I need to get your information, your name. We don't worry about email addresses or anything like that. And I appreciate the reminder because I totally forgot. So you want to drop your name in this Google form so that we can give away prizes with the wheel of names at the end. Thank you for reminding me, Christine. I appreciate that. Gabriel, going to want to drop that in the link that I shared there. I shared a link, guys. Make sure to drop it in the link itself. All right. So, and I'll remind everybody one more time. Someone's only here for the prizes. That's funny. Okay. Now, you're going to see the price. You'll see discounts and taxes if they're there. If there's a product image link, you'll actually see a product image in this particular area here. You'll see whether it's in stock at Amazon or not. You'll get an Amazon image, a title for the source. Okay. Oh, Will. Forgot Will's in here. I do not fix any of these contests. If your spreadsheet had a title in here, it would pull here. You've got an Amazon title as well. Then, of course, all of your buttons, Amazon Seller Central, camel, 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 search title. You can also show source at Amazon. I've got a Google search in here. I've got a link to Keepa in here, which I've shown how to add in other places. Also, your check restrictions button, which I am currently not logged in to Amazon, so it's not going to show up for me. Then you've got your average price over 30 days. You've got your average price over 90 days. Is camel, this is a good question. Is camel still relevant when sourcing since they stopped tracking data? So I'll be honest, I haven't even looked at camel in a long time. I checked them once, like maybe 3 months ago to see what their data looked like. But after they had a huge crash, I think their stuff just went downhill. And I don't know if they charge now, and maybe that stuff is just behind a paywall. I should probably look into it, but I've never liked camel. So I've never really just advocated using it. Keepa is light years ahead of what camel has ever been able to do. But I'll look into it. Maybe they've got something worth looking at. So you have your average price over 30 and 90 days. You've got your current Amazon buy box price. We can see the brand here. We've got an exclude button. You can see your adjusted price. So for example, my price is $5.75. But if you add in my cost for prep, et cetera, and so on, the adjusted price is $11.10. You can see how many variations there are. The identifier column is a column that will come from your spreadsheet or your price list. You've got the ASIN, the Amazon UPC, who owns the buy box currently, whether or not Amazon sells, and if they're in stock, how many sellers there are. Of course, from here, we can open up Tactical Edge so we can get some more data. Chris, can you do a video on reading Keepa graphs? So yeah, I'll do a video on reading Keepa graphs. I've got several videos that I need to do. I'm probably going to start doing like a twice or three times a week video on my Facebook page, and maybe I'll post it to YouTube, kind of quick snippets of online arbitrage, Keepa, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'll do something on reading Keepa graphs. We can open that up in Tactical Edge from the View Wholesale page. We can see on this particular hover over how many FBA and merchant fulfilled sellers there are. Sorry, AccuWeather keeps yelling at me. We can see the potential monthly profit, shows 183.93. Now, what this is based on is how many sales we could get. So this shows an estimated monthly sale of 1, and based on being able to, based on there being one other seller, if we got 1 sale per month, we could see that our estimated monthly profit would be about 183.93 if the gross profit is 183.93. Okay. We can see the sales rank, the average sales rank over 30 and 90 days, the Amazon return after fees, the ROI, the profit, the reviews, the rating, and then any notes that are in here from your sheet or any that you've added yourself. Okay. And this data is all customizable. You can move it around. All right. We can move the estimated monthly sales before the history chart. This is just the way that I like to have them. And then, of course, if you click on your manage columns area, you can turn things on and off. Like I don't have my prep and ship fees in here. I don't have the quantity in here, the match quality, because I look at that kind of stuff myself. I also don't worry about the product size or anything like that. Because I'll sell it whether it's large or small, etc. Let's see here. Can you show how to get ASINs from Tactical Edge? Yeah, really quickly. So when you're in Tactical Edge, you click this blue box, and it's going to load the ASINs from that particular seller. So it's going to be really slow. I've got a ton of tabs open. Close my settings. Okay. Once you click on that little blue box, you can see I've got 2016 ASINs from Gentle Ben Games and Media, which is kind of a creepy name, and they get thrown into reverse search automatically. You can also click the downloadable here button and actually download those ASINs there. Alex was mentioning some major updates coming to TA in 2020. Anything you can tell us? No, not currently. There is not anything that I am allowed to tell you guys. But Alex did show me something really cool the other day, and when he shows it, it's going to be awesome. How to do a reverse search with it. We went through that last week, so you want to watch last week's video. Is this the layout of the View Wholesale you usually go through to vet products? Yeah, this is the layout I typically keep on Wholesale. This is one I like. Are they in order of how much weight you put on those columns to make a decision? Not really. It's just kind of the way that I like to look at data. I like my titles to be together. I like actually this in stock should be in front of the product image. Because I like my product images to be right next to each other if they're available. I like my titles to be right next to each other, et cetera, and so on. And every now and again, I kind of move these around a little bit. But this is the way that I like to see it, because when I have this on my widescreen, I can pretty much see everything nice and easily. Any information on getting a certificate of analysis for a product? I remember that you and Will had mentioned it before, but did not write it down. I forget. I'll have to go back and figure that out. Let's see. Showed how to get tactical edge products. Can we do wholesale in books? I'm sure that there are some book wholesalers out there. I don't know how difficult it would be to actually do wholesale in books. There's going to be a lot of used book sellers. Those are going to be a lot easier. How many times per day do I look at tactical arbitrage? I don't know. I probably spend a couple hours in here every day. When you buy a pallet doing wholesale from a distributor, do you send that to a prep center or to your house? That's up to you. You can send it to a prep center, and they'll do the work for you. Or if you have the ability and they've got a lift gate, you can send it to your house. Personally, I would probably send it to a prep center. Let's see here. Have you tried the wholesale formula? I actually do have the wholesale formula. It is one of the courses that I've had for a long time. Yes. Let's see. Is there a way to download an ASIN list of products in a saved list if you want to redo this search through all the stores in TA? Yes, absolutely. If you have a saved list, like this is a saved list here, I can click download all to computer, and then I can choose what I want it to look like. So I'm going to download all visible columns and rows as a CSV file. And I'm going to get this big long name here. I'm going to save that. And then what I would do is I would go in and just take out everything but the ASINs. Let's see. Got that one answered. Is there a way to default all view pages, reverse search, wholesale, etc., to a particular layout instead of going to each page and moving them around using managed columns? I don't believe that there's a way to do that currently. I wonder. Yeah, no, I don't. There's not a way to do that currently. You have to go in and set them up each one by one. Then, of course, you can save the styles, but they don't cross over to like wholesale. Doesn't cross over to product search view data or anything like that. But I could bring that up to Alex as an idea. Why doesn't Walgreens accept gift cards online? I am not sure. I would have to ask Mrs. Walgreens, and I haven't talked to her in a long time. From last week's webinar, you mentioned that if we want to drop ship from Amazon to eBay, you suggest to leave blank the only keep data if gross ROI is at least X instead of using a negative number, and then you can use the on-page filters. My question is, why do you prefer one over the other if the whole purpose is to do Amazon to eBay flips? So if you were going to do Amazon to eBay drop shipping, then the reason I would leave it wide open rather than putting a negative is because I just don't want to mess it up with a negative. I mean, you could, but it's going to be pretty quick anyway. What percentage of your TA sourced products are replens? Probably only 20%. I don't do enough replens. I probably should. Is there a way to get IP alert on Tactical Edge? Not currently. There's not currently a way to do that. Let's see here if I could even make that possible. Not going to be able to make that possible, it looks like. So one of the things that IP Alert looks for is the brand. So you'll see here that IP Alert comes up under the brand column. Oh, here it is. So the brand column, and there is no brand unless I'm missing it. There's no brand on the Tactical Edge page, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Let's see here. If you download a list from TA and filter in a different program, is there a way to import the list without running another search? Yes, we can do that next week. If you want to shoot me an email with that suggestion, we'll go over that next week. It's going to be 9:30. I try to finish these up by 10, so I don't want to dig into that, but we could do that next week for sure. Is there a different way to use TA if you want to focus on replens? We've actually done a replen video. It's in the Tactical Tuesday or Tactical Thursday playlist on YouTube. You'll want to go and take a look at that. We've gone all over replens. One of the major things about replens is a lot of people think replens and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to look at groceries because that's the only replens. That's not true. Some of my best replens have been things like undershirts and socks and beauty products. I know that beauty products get purchased over and over again because I have a wife, and she buys the same beauty products over and over. And let's see. When do you think you can schedule a webinar with Mark too? I will reach out to Mark this week and see. I just haven't had the opportunity. Mark 2. I'll reach out to Mark and see if he's got time. I would imagine he's getting fairly busy. But with replens, one of the things that happens on in a lot of cases is they say, okay, I need to go after grocery. Well, that's not always the case. Underwear, socks, undershirts, shoes can be replens. All kinds of things can be replens. It doesn't just have to be grocery items and consumables. How do we set searches that run every day automatically? Shoot me an email and I will we'll go over that as well. IP alert on Tactical Edge, got that one. See, we got some other questions. Hey, also, if you are on the YouTubes, do me a solid and murder that like button, smash it for me. It helps the YouTube algorithm and gets more eyeballs on this. Do you get many returns with underwear, socks, etc.? As long as the fit rate is fairly high, no. So over the last, 30 days or so, I've probably sold 30 or maybe 40 undershirts. And I haven't had a single one returned over the past 30 days. I think I've had one returned over the past 90 days. Typically, in my own anecdotal experience, I've found that things like socks, undershirts, and underwear get returned less. Like I'm not disgusting, so I would never return underwear that I took out of the package. Although I've had people return underwear that were in a package, and those went directly in the garbage can. Let's see here. Doing 30 hours a week, how much sales can one reasonably get doing solely TA? Honestly, that's a difficult question to answer, but there are people who use just tactical arbitrage and have scaled to over 100,000 a month in sales. Typically they've got a VA or a couple of VAs, but it's very possible to do with 30 hours a week by yourself. I could easily see doing 50 to 100,000 a month if you're not counting prep and pack time, if you're just counting buying. So it's all about getting a really smart plan in place on how to use tactical arbitrage, not over filtering on the front end, and then pulling the trigger, making buys, that kind of stuff. You usually return your underwear after 6 months. That's gross, man. Let's see here. If a product has a subscribe and save so much percent, if you get on that, who covers it? You cover the subscribe and save. You say if you want to subscribe and save and you get 5% off, that comes off. They lop that right off the top of yours. It's on you. Let's see here. Is there a way to download save product? I see. I got an inauthentic claim for some shoes I purchased from Marshalls. They were Nikes. I sent Amazon the photo of the shoes with the tag correlating to the Marshalls receipt, and it looks like they took the claim off. However, they are still keeping me blocked from selling the shoe again. Is there anything else I can do? Uh, with the inauthentic claims, those can be a bit difficult. So I would probably reach out to them again and ask, what they can do to keep you or get you unblocked or reinstate you. Sometimes they will not reinstate an ASIN, and you just have to go with it and move on to other ASINs. I got an inauthentic claim for a toy once, and I gave them all the information. It was legit. Everything matched up, and they were like, okay, thanks, we took this off your record, but I still can't sell that particular Nerf ASIN. I can sell every other Nerf under the sun. I just cannot sell that particular ASIN. So it's just kind of one of the things we have to roll with. Let's see. Is there a way to have more searches in tactical arbitrage with just one Amazon account? Well, you can get a second tactical arbitrage account. You can have, I know that you can have two TA accounts for sure. And then you'd be able to run both accounts at the same time. What brand undershirts do you sell? That's funny. Let's see. Who and how can make IP claims? Well, anybody can submit an IP claim to Amazon if you fill out the form. If you are a seller, I would suggest that you don't go filling out IP claims on other sellers just because you want to. But a lot of times they'll come from brand or brand representatives. Voorhees typically sends out cease and desist letters. There are other brand representatives that will file IP complaints on their brand's behalf. Just depends. But anybody can submit an IP claim. If sourcing from eBay or Mercari, how would you deal with inauthentic claims? You won't. You will. You don't have proof from eBay or Mercari, so I would not suggest sourcing from there. I know some people who will take the risk on eBay and they'll source products. I have done it in the past when I was newer to Amazon. I've sourced from eBay and sold on Amazon, but it was more Wild West back then, and things were not as tightly controlled. So I would not source from eBay or Mercari. Because if you get an inauthentic claim, the chances of getting it taken off are going to be slim to none. I have an inauthentic claim for MAC Cosmetics from 12/20 that was purchased from MAC, and they still haven't removed it. Of course, the one-star bogus feedback isn't removed either. Yeah, they've gotten a lot more. So Amazon has gotten a lot more difficult to deal with. Feedback has gotten a lot harder. That inauthentic claim, like I would keep fighting it. There's, if you've done everything right, if you've annotated your receipt, if you've, shown them everything, eventually someone smart enough to realize that you've done everything right is going to be there. How often or how many counterfeit claims do you get? I don't get that many. So like I've gotten, I think 2 over the past 6 months. Better use and return underwear plan. Buy from Walmart, save original packaging, wear, wash, and return before the 90-day return period is up. I have a dream. This is going to be way off topic, but I have a dream that one day I am wealthy enough that I just have a new pair of underwear and a new pair of socks every day, and when it's time to change them, I just throw them out. That's the dream. Matthew, thank you for all your tips. You helped me get ungated in topicals for free instead of paying other courses. Awesome. I appreciate you being here, man. Got 2 suspected intellectual property violations, still lies after almost 6 months. Yeah, sometimes they just don't come off there. And those suspected intellectual property violations, like there's not a lot of information out there about those. They're just suspected. I don't think that they really hurt your account much. I mean, they suck to have there, but like there's not a ton of great information or legit information out there about like what they do on your account. So, all right. Any other questions? If not, I am going to open this up and we're going to start giving away some prizes. I'll drop the link to the Google form one more time in case you didn't get your name in there. There we go. Give you guys another second and we will pull up the wheel of names. We've got, are there any ungating services that I trust? Not currently. No, not currently. I've been looking. I just don't know of any that I trust yet. I need to really, really vet those before using them, and I just haven't found one. All right. So tonight we've got one Tactical Academy to give away. We've got 3 polybag winners who get 100 polybags from I Love Supplies. We've got 3 OA Cheddar flips, 30-day trials to give away, 2 Tactical Arbitrage t-shirts, 2 IP alerts. I think that'll do it for tonight. That's enough. Is Rev Roi back yet? Rev Roi has been back for a little over a week. Really frustrating thing was all we had to do was restart the server, which was rather frustrating. It took so long to figure that out, but it is back in action. Yes. All right. Hopefully you got your name in the Google Forms. I'm going to turn it off to accepting responses. And I'm going to pull all these names out here. And throw them in the wheel of names. Shuffle them around a little bit so nobody thinks that I'm cheating. And we will start. Let's see. Alex sent me a note, wanted me to tell you to give away a lifetime subscription. Dude, I wish. I might talk Alex into that. Maybe for like the 1-year anniversary or something. Do I do any Amazon to Amazon flips? Yep, absolutely. We're going to talk Amazon to Amazon flips, probably not next week, but maybe a week after that or something. All right, so the first thing we're going to give away tonight is going to be 2 Tactical Arbitrage t-shirts that I will ship to your house directly from Amazon. So the first winner of a Tactical Arbitrage t-shirt tonight is Lori M. Lori M, if you will shoot me an email, chris@cleartheshelf.com. Need to get the size, color, and your address, and I will ship you a Tactical Arbitrage t-shirt. And the next winner of a Tactical Arbitrage t-shirt tonight is going to be Lauren J. Lauren, shoot me an email and I will get you taken care of for a t-shirt as well. Excuse me. Next up, let's give away 3 30-day subscriptions to OA Cheddar Flips. OA Cheddar Flips are from my good buddies over at OA Cheddar. They run an excellent sourcing list if you are in the market, although they're always full except for on their flips and their feta. Albina C. Hopefully, I did not absolutely murder the pronunciation of your name. But if you will shoot me an email, I will get you a 30-day trial to OA Cheddar Flips. And next up is Steve. Steve Yuck. or Uke, I don't know. You get a 30-day trial to OA Cheddar Flips as well. Gabe has a question. How do you think Amazon will handle inauthentic claims? I'm not sure what that last word's supposed to be. Palm hip. I mean, I know how they handle inauthentic claims, but I'm not sure if you meant more there. Okay, the third winner of the Flip subscription is Raymond N. Raymond N, shoot me an email at chris@cleartheshelf.com and I will get you a 30-day subscription to OA Cheddar Flips. Are all the gift card websites from Rev Roi legit? Yeah. All the gift card websites are legit. There are some that I use more than others. Like my favorites happen to be like Cardpool and Raise. But I've never really heard a lot of stuff. Okay, so inauthentic claims for old items found at garage sales and thrift stores. So here's the thing about inauthentic claims, and then we'll get back to the prizes. With inauthentic claims, you need to show a chain of custody, okay? And that chain of custody needs to be from like a legit source. So if you're buying an item from a garage sale or a Goodwill or anything like that, and you cannot show that, hey, I got this from a legit store, then you're not going to be able to prove authenticity. And I'm not looking down on people who source from garage sales and thrift stores. I never did garage sale flips, but I sourced from thrift stores when I started out, and I got an inauthentic claim or two. They happen, and I wasn't able to prove authenticity. I just had to take the hit, and that's what made me change up my game. Is because of those. Same, shoot me an email. There's a new way to handle that. Grant is just overwhelmed and can't answer those. So shoot me another email, and I've got another way to get you into that 30-day OA Cheddar trial that you get. What cashback portals do I like the best? So my absolute favorite cashback portal is called what is it called? Giving Assistant. Thank you. Giving Assistant. So Giving Assistant, they have a pretty good they have a pretty competitive cash back. But the other thing is I also like to give part of my cash back away to charity. So I have mine automatically go to Operation Underground Railroad. And they free children from mostly sex slave trafficking, and so I give a portion of all my cash back to them, and so I like them the best. Rakuten is another good one. Those are really the only two that I really use. Top Cashback is pretty good, but Giving Assistant and Rakuten are probably 95% of the cashback portals that I use. Okay. We did OA flips. We did t-shirts. Let's do poly bags from I Love Supplies. Jonathan just had to ship like 250,000 bags from a little sale he did. So hopefully he is dug out and can ship some samples again. Renee B, shoot me an email. I'm going to need your address so that I can have Jonathan ship you 100 poly bags from I Love Supplies. And next up is going to be Will. I got my fingers crossed for you, so you can win some bags, man. Mac G, that's Matt Gage from California, man. This dude's daughter is crushing it on YouTube. Mac, shoot me an email. I will get you some poly bags from I Love Supplies. Jonathan, anyway. We'll shoot those out to you. And the next winner of poly bags is Kevin M. Kevin M. You won 100 poly bags from I Love Supplies. Make sure to shoot me an email at chris@cleartheshelf.com. Let's give away a copy of, or 2 copies of IP Alert next. Let's see. The first winner of IP Alert is going to be Hal W. Hal W, if you want to shoot me an email, I will get you a copy of the IP Alert extension. And the next winner is so close. So close. Well, David M, shoot me an email. I'll get you a copy of IP Alert. And finally, let's give away the big prize, which is a copy of, or a lifetime membership to Tactical Arbitrage Academy. Driz, I could probably figure out something else for you. If you want to just shoot me an email. I'm not going to get to them until tomorrow. But shoot me an email and I'll see about figuring out something else for you. Winner of Tactical Arbitrage Academy for tonight is Jason R. It looks like Jason R. If you want to shoot me an email, I will get you I'll get you access to Tactical Arbitrage Academy, which is our course on tactical arbitrage. And also hiring a VA. And of course, you get access to the private Facebook group as well. So I think that's it for this week, guys. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so that you get notified when we go live every week. And I am going to start doing some more videos on online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, and all things Amazon. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please shoot them to me via email at chris@cleartheshelf.com. I actually do read all the emails, and I reply to 90% of them. I will see you guys around the YouTubes and the Facebooks, and I will see you guys here next Thursday for another round of Tactical Thursday. So have a great week, guys. Good selling, and I will talk to you soon.